Hey everybody, my name is Geoff Livingston and I'm CEO of Generative Buzz, and I've got Dror Weiss, CEO of Tabnine with me. How are you doing today, Dror?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you, Geoff.
So what do you think of the conference so far?
Oh, wow. It's so exciting conference, the Code Forward conference, a conference dedicated to AI for software development, which is sort of my life for the last decade. It feels like almost a birthday party for me, so I'm very excited.
It's always good to be amongst your people, right?
Yeah. That's great.
Well, before we get into it, can I ask you just really quick for everybody's benefit, what does Tabnine do and what are you offering the market?
Yeah. So we are pioneers and market leaders in the field of AI for software development. We actually built the market's first AI assistant for software development back in 2018.
Wow.
Even before language models were a thing. We built it sort of with a handcrafted technology.
Okay.
And today we serve more than 1 million developers who use us in the workflow, in the IDE. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, so we serve both the developer audience and the organization audience, the enterprise audience who need more control and security and privacy of the AI. So these are the things that we prioritize for the bigger customers who need these capabilities.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So here we're seeing a lot of government talk for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
In the context of government organizations, do you think the use of AI is safe, and where does it need to go to be even better, so to speak?
Yeah. So I think every organization should define what they're comfortable with and what they legally can do with when it comes to isolation of the data. Can they share data to external parties? Can they can they send code to the cloud? Can they use code that's generated by AI that was trained on open source code with all sorts of licenses that are not necessarily permissive? And so safety is basically, I think, every organization needs to set their own limits. We at Tabnine, we find incredible amount of interest from these kind of regulated industries, also for government and financial services, but also defense, automotive, healthcare, financial services. These are the so I expect that government also will need some of the capabilities that we offer, especially in isolation of the AI. We allow organizations to run the AI completely inside their network, so it's completely air-gapped or isolated. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this way customers can control their own destiny as far as sort of data staying inside and not living outside. So this is on a case-by-case basis. I don't know that there is any really generic thing that I can say, yes, AI is always safe or always not safe to use in government context. But I think it should be very thoughtful about the specific requirements in security and compliance and privacy.
Outstanding. Along the lines of that, when you were talking about safety, just a quick follow-up question. Seems like a lot of that is government governance and policy and process. Do you see a lot of people thinking through that now more than they used to?
Oh yeah. I think now it's very clear the value that AI can provide. So now people get to the next level. Sort of this is established, and okay, we need to use it. So how can we use it safely? So I think that people are now really thoughtful about how they could really leverage this technology in a way that fits their policies as far as security and privacy.
Makes sense. Now, generated code, do you find it to be both compliant and secure?
Well, yes.
Little trick question.
Yeah. So the compliance of the generated code, we at Tabnine think about it. We very early on we took an approach to only train our AI models on code that normally our customers would be able to use to incorporate into the system. So any code that's licensed in a GPL license that's sort of restrictive, that means that you need to open your source code. We simply don't ingest it to our models, and this is, by the way, one of the differentiators from some of our competitors who simply suck in all the code in the universe. We chose very early on not to suck code that our users write, okay, because of two things. First of all, we want to respect the privacy of our users, but secondly, we want our model to only contain code that was acquired in legitimate manner, and not both for the provider of the code and for the consumer of the code. They both want to know that it came from a legitimate source. Now, as for security, no AI model can provide 100% guarantee. Okay, so we advise our customers to keep all the guardrails that exist, to do code review, to really understand the code that they incorporate into the system, to keep their testing, to keep the static analysis, and all these guardrails in place. But generally speaking, we only train our AI models on code that fulfills sort of certain quality thresholds, that's updated, that has credibility scores and all that. So generally, we get really positive feedback about the security of the code that our AI generates.
That's a good segue to the next question, which is how well does your AI tool understand the code base?
Yeah, so this is really important. To AI that's generic is not as useful as AI that really knows your code, and the models are getting more and more contextual.
Right.
Okay, more and more the large language models now have the ability to process and digest much larger context window. This means that if in the past they were sort of able to know the contents of your current file, now they're able to really get your entire project as part of the question. So we're taking advantage of these capabilities, and it's getting really better. In addition, we started to employ a thing called, it's now very hot, RAG. It's retrieval augmented generation. It means that whenever you write a piece of code or ask your chat a question, it's sort of in a very sophisticated and efficient way is able to locate related materials in your project and then sort of bring them to the LLM, like saying, hey, this is the question, but here are the related materials that I found, and this way the AI is able to really give a more thoughtful or more relevant answer to the question. So these are getting in really great strides, and this is a huge priority for us to let customers have code that's according to their best practice. So the next stage of it is letting customers not just give you the code as a context, but select the good parts, right, of their code, to have that as a reference to the AI and other means to let customer really get the AI to create best practice code, and to make sure that developers who don't use the AI to keep it as guardrails, so they create code that's conformed to the best practice, and this way to create a leverage not just for the developers themselves, but also for the architects and the tech leads, the people who review the code and are responsible for the overall quality of the project.
Makes sense. It's pretty big stuff. I have a question for you. It's a little bit of a crystal ball question.
All right.
And this will be our last one. So obviously we're coming up on 2024. 23 was a big year for AI with generative. What do you think the number one trend for 2024 in AI is going to be?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I think what we see, at least in the domain of software development, I think what we saw in 2023 was just the warm-up for the big 2024. So in 2023, I mean, people forget, but ChatGPT launched literally a year
ago, right?
Yeah, on November 30, but who, but who remembers? So, and after ChatGPT, everybody sort of immediately realized what generative AI can do, but I think only or mostly early adopters acted in 2023. I think in 2024 and 2025, we're going to see the mainstream enterprise looking to adopt generative AI. I think we're going to see that as I think maybe less opportunistic way and more structured way. I think we'll see enterprises constructing multi-year programs and strategies for enhancing their, especially in software development, for going, for implementing this. It's not like, okay, yeah, we'll do it in 1 month and we're done, right?
Right.
So I think I think these are the things we're gonna see more. I think ambitious, organized, and also starting to get into the mainstream of enterprise customers.
Sounds like the rubber's going to hit the road in 2024.
Yeah, definitely so.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you for your time. I think you were a fantastic, insightful interview. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dror.